Ah, well then. Hello everyone. It's a lovely Sunday morning in New York. And what better way for me to kick it off? To kick off a beautiful morning with some more Truckers MP. Wow. I had just woken up, so this should be an interesting ride. I just gotta do a couple of things before launching the game. Okay, there we go. Damn. Okay. Oh. Okay, interesting. So, I remember last night we finished off in Calais, which was basically just my setup run all the way to Duisburg. Duisburg. Sheesh. I always butcher the name. It's a mental habit of me. Okay. So, oh, here we go. So effectively, we have the heaviest load in the game. And I'm effectively, yeah, effectively go. Oh wait, no, it's not all the way to Diaries, but I'm going through. That was a voice crack. I'm effectively going all the way through. To Duisburg. Yeah, this is just in case I need any fuel because I have effectively driven a heavy vehicle in. So we're gonna see how that goes. No violations. See, look, I'm an amazing driver. I own 37. I own 60. I employ 30 drivers. Some of them is just literally for my recreation. 12,663 days. 8 hours. So let's just crunch the maths very quickly. My voice does not want to stop cracking. You may or may not hear it. I'm just. Here we go. So it's effectively. Okay, so game time spent is effectively. It's effectively almost 35 years. Jeez. Outrageous. Accomplishments on time, on damage. To be fair, this is like my longest standing profile that I've had since like 2015. So yeah, here we go. Low bet. Oh. Oh wait, no. This is the These are just individual jobs. Interesting. Okay. Well, here we go. Let's hope I could connect. I'm gonna be hitting my mic every now and then. I should be able to load up because I am in the port as opposed to being in the middle of it all. Fingers crossed it works. There is a chance that I might get kicked for unreliable connection because I'm obviously not in the... Hey, it works. Yeah, I was about to say, sometimes I get kicked for unreliable connection because I'm in the middle of it all, but... Oh, that doesn't look promising at all. Uh-oh. People are not gonna be interested in letting someone with a locomotive in. It's 140,000 pounds. Here we go. Nothing better than good old LBC. Does he want to pull out? Okay, good. Keep that in context, I swear.
The next of kin have been informed. The case is now, yeah.
So were they well known in the area?
Neighbours
Here we go. People are not going to be happy behind me. People are going to be desperate to overtake me.
Another neighbour said that Maya, the 11-year-old girl, was a happy bubbly, intelligent, very intelligent girl, kind and extroverted. So, residents obviously have been very distressed, been laying flowers outside.
It's going to take forever to get up to highway speeds.
Now with homicide detectives.
Especially on the Calais-Duisburg road.
Circumstances, they say it's at an early stage investigation, but crucially they are not looking for anybody else in connection with their deaths. They're keeping kind of an open.
Here we go. My frames are about to plummet with this.
Some limited details, it seems, about the family themselves. The name would suggest.
Yep, here we go.
It's a Polish name. That certainly the husband was from Poland. That was described by neighbours as Eastern European. The father, it appears, Mr. Wlodarczyk, was a builder, and Mrs. Wlodarczyk was a cleaner working in a hotel at Heathrow. The children, Maya, certainly went to a local primary school. It's a terrible tragedy.
Nice and graceful merge.
It would be unfair and dangerous to speculate at this stage.
Oh, I'm having to floor my brakes to avoid crawling forward. This does not look good.
It's just completely heartbreaking. Danny Shaw, Crime Policing and Justice Commentator from BBC Halifax correspondent. I appreciate your time this afternoon on that story. We'll watch it for developments, and if there are any as the programme continues and in our time, we will of course bring that to you. We're talking about what it feels like if your parent has been in prison, or whether you were yourself in prison, or perhaps social.
Yeah, I'm gonna be quite kind with this person. Oh, this person wants to come in. Okay, but now it's my turn. Jeez. Spanish trucker, I'm not surprised.
under guardianship now. Yeah.
And how old was she when she came to you?
Well, because of autism in the family, it's been really complicated. So everybody lived with us for 7 months, and then the mum and dad had her mum and dad had 6
He's
months.
gotta get moving, my guy.
But it broke down, and we've always tried to
Here we
involve
go.
the parents as much as possible, but then it all shattered, basically. So
Why do they have a random propane tank on the right side of the on the right side of the actual construction zone? That is so random. Are you idiots? I'm just reading chat. That is interesting. You know what?
We broke contact and let him go. It was my son-in-law. I thought, I can't deal with any more trauma ourselves. I've got to try and look after the granddaughter who's really good friend. And then during lockdown, it was really interesting because we got to a point and she was already...
Oh, he's lagging, but that's perfectly fine because the guy in front of me is quite fine. Hey, an admin's watching.
I can't live another day without seeing Daddy. So oh gosh, right, okay, this is not going to work. So we need to make contact. And he was 2 years into his sentence that day. And so she was able to have video calls. They set up a video call system while they were in prison during lockdown. So we have monthly video calls.
Does he want to move? Yeah, he's not gonna cut me off here. If he cuts me off, he's going on the stream. Oh, go on, go on. Am I stuck? I'm freaking stuck.
So we talked very openly, but not about exactly how somebody was hurt. But I think that's the only way. Some people are different. We belong to Children Heard and Seen. They look after us. It's been amazing.
Okay.
The support that they've given to May. And
Well, if I get a second chance to make that turn, I just have to drive a distance.
Search the internet to try and find. There were only people that came up. They're still the only people that can help. But we've been with them the whole of the 4.5 years. It's just been amazing support. And, we were really disorientated because he disappeared overnight after having with May. And they've had a wonderful time. He was really stable and settled.
Please wait 121 seconds. When was the last time I used it?
It was another massive trauma within the family that had many traumas in the previous 5 years since the pregnancy started. So,
Okay, I'm avoiding that. Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna bypass most of this traffic.
Really interesting hearing the first caller because, I hear these stories and, in many ways, May is really lucky because she's really quite...
Is he gonna back up?
She goes to a school where there have been no issues.
I was about to ask you about this.
Help. Yeah, no, you see, she's really protected. So, the effects that she's had, even though she's needed 2.5 years of trauma, are really limited compared with a lot of families that you hear stories about, the police are breaking down the doors, the parents are taken away, that's the left experience. It's all very traumatic. We just had Father's Day and he wasn't able to come out. He's in an open prison now, which is brilliant. And he's done really well with his autism. He's managed to knuckle down and keep himself safe. And the only thing we managed to get through the psychologist was the call today, which most of the time is had, which has really been saving us.
Yeah, he's gonna want to overtake at some point. Whoa. He's not gonna fly into the intersection.
Nobody has to be in the home or, in the ground. So we stood in the little dirty car park in front of the house, just spending half an hour together exchanging cards because it's May's birthday soon. So birthday cards and a little present to give Annie and Kirsty. And then she gave him a homemade card for a school that was beautiful. So you do what you can, but it is lost. It's lost years. She's lost 4.5 years. And when he comes out, because of the incident, we've been told by social services that they should never have unmonitored contact. So, it wrecks lives.
That parental relationship will not resemble what one would hope to be sort of
Exactly.
describing as a within the bounds of normality. Gee, you said I have asked people to call them about, if they were children who were separated from their parents.
Yeah.
But you, of course, are on the other side of this. You're having to look after, or you are choosing to look after your parent because of parents. But it must have an impact on you.
Oh, yeah. I've had treatment for PTSD. I've had a lot of treatment for PTSD because it's been repeated trauma that we've experienced. And you get trauma from the child as well. We also foster, we've fostered hard-to-place kids historically. And you pick up trauma from other people. So parents trying to parent children with a parent in prison, and grandparents are traumatized by it. There's quite a lot of grandparents that are supported by children heard and seen. And you are traumatized by what they're experiencing. I think, to be honest, I'm amazed because we've had 2.5 years of amazing support through the attached team. Anybody in Oxfordshire knows the attached team. And it was through the lockdown period, so our support extended.
Yeah, they should be getting a move on. If the guy's not going to move, then so should I.
And again, the first call was saying that something that you were referring to was saying that they have to wait many years to get support. If you're in the general system, there's no support.
Whoa, okay.
Psychological support, there's no hand-holding, there's no advice given about how to, go about visits to prisons. We chose not to go into the general prison system because May is also autistic, and we realised talking to people in other parents
Whoa, okay. Hamburger Jung. Hamburger Junge. Crazy. Go to take drive license. Some of the toxic chats in here are hilarious. Especially out of context.
As we entered the last few minutes of this hour, I did say that we would be talking to winding out the conversation. If you are somebody for whom Father's Day is difficult because perhaps your dad wasn't around.
Right, it's Father's Day.
You've been separated from your kids and can't see them.
I hope he's gonna let me through. How kind.
60609 text 84850. It's a Father's Day, but I understand that it can be very triggering and difficult for some of you. Particularly if your dad wasn't around. Pick up the phone, tell me what that feels like. And tell me about how you changed your life to help cope.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a wide turn here.
I'm Sangeeta Maiska. This is LBC.
Have your say only on LBC.
All taxation is fair, and more taxation is more fair.
Okay, I'm gonna let this dude get a move on. If he rams me in, okay, perfect. Gonna let this guy through.
Get up and at it, as my mother used to say. Get moving. Get your skates on. Put your hair done on the racetrack. Get behind the wheel. Get picking up.
Gotta watch this guy.
Get busy. Get deliveries done. And get home to see mom. Whatever the mission, Enterprise Rent-A-Car helps over 100,000 every day.
As Bethany opened her Amazon parcel, her heart began to race. Waterproof LCD display and heart rate monitoring. This fitness tracker won first place with Bethany for quality and price. 5 stars from Bethany. With star reviews from you and star prices from us. Start your search on Amazon today.
When you travel abroad, you could make some good friends from all around the world. You might stumble upon a good view of the sand
Yeah,
dunes.
understandable,
You
to
may
be
even
fair.
create good memories that last a lifetime. But while you
We'll
visit
see
travels,
how he
a
drives.
small group tour with Intrepid Travel will give you all that and more.
If he drives horribly in front of me, then we will find out.
Trips that are good in all the right ways. Visit intrepidtravel.com. Intrepid. Good trips only.
At Kia, we're taking the lead in electrification with our Kia Electric Experience, showcasing the all-electric 7-seater SUV.
Oh, he can't come in front of me. He's gonna have to overtake.
During this exclusive VIP unveiling, voted the most anticipated new model of 2023
Uh-oh.
by car readers. The Kia EV9 is set to change the way we move. Take the lead, drive electric. Search Kia EV9 Electric Experience today. Kia, movement that inspires.
Welcome to Aerocom, where inconvenience is a good thing. We'll only deliver to your area once a week.
It reduces carbon emissions.
Although it costs a bit more.
We pay farmers fairly.
Yep, here comes the first driver.
Preservatives or unnecessary plastic.
An inconvenience store is better for the planet and tastes better too.
Join the thousands of people choosing inconvenience. Search Able & Co and order a carbon-neutral grocery delivery today. Difficult tastes better. Able & Co.
Yep, there he is.
Expanding across all London boroughs from the 29th of August this year to help make the air clearer.
Yeah, I did know. So, have you checked your vehicle? Just went online to tapped in the registration.
I'm not even at highway speeds yet.
All you need to do is just search
There we go.
vehicle checker to check your vehicle.
No native cars driving out of London.
Whoa, okay.
To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Sangeeta Meister on LBC.
With Enterprise, great rates on weekend escapes.
Hello, I'm Sangeeta Mosca here with you until 4 o'clock. This is Father's Day.
Gotta make sure that I know what the mainline traffic is and what isn't mainline traffic. There you go.
Be hard to get through. The question I have for you is, what was it like to grow up perhaps with an absent father? 0345 6060973, or perhaps your father who's been separated from your children. What is today like for you? 0345 6060973. I've had this incredibly private text, and I understand, texter, why you can't pick up the phone, but I'm going to read your text. It is a bit long, so bear with me. Hi, Sangeeta, says this texter. I'm anxious to pick up the phone, but I really want to say something. This is the first time anyone, as far as I can remember, anyone has covered this issue. I grew up without a dad, and it has left a trail of destruction, a black hole, so to speak. It was
Aw.
tough growing up. I'm 35. My dad passed away 4 months before my birthday.
Is he gonna fly in front? Oh, okay. There you go.
I didn't have any support growing up, neither did my mum. My mum provided as much as she could, but for me, there's no role model. I grew up as gay. I came out. I'm British Indian. There's no role model from a father's point of view. There's no LGBTQ plus queer role model.
What?
So I've had to
How's that
navigate
happened?
life on my own. Dad was
Oh,
very
there you
kind
go.
to Mum.
There you go.
That's as much as I remember. For his reasons for being in prison with an alcoholic. He was bullied for having a parent in prison. My brother is on the straight and narrow path. path, very stable.
Oh, there he is again.
He had trouble at school and went through a rebellious stage. I was the opposite. Family came first. I sacrificed my childhood for the stability of home life. I'm still at home. Those who know me well in household finances, we cope, we help them help deposit for 2 children, can't help but deposit for 2 children. Dad spent inheritance, savings, and booze, and mum spending money on
Okay, time to get up to speed.
house, education, situation, I wasn't allowed to go to university of my choosing due to my working health after losing dad. I had to drop out of college to pay for basics and went to debt. The dream of learning was
Yeah, this is to be expected.
doing what I can.
I'm hauling a heavy load, so it's no surprise. But he has to pick up speed. Whoa, okay.
Dear Texter, whether you haven't given me your name, it's an incredibly powerful message and thank you. And I'm glad that we started the conversation. Right, we never talk about what it must be like to be a child of prison.
Whoa.
But do you know what? For what it's worth, I think it sounds like you did an incredible job of standing by your mum, and I really, really do wish you the very, very best in life. And if you do feel able to pick up the phone in a few minutes after the doorbell, I'd love to have a chat with you. I just want to go into about
What the? Is that the magic school bus? Jeez.
Flooding this afternoon. It's obviously proved incredibly dangerous. I just want to get an update on that story. Jim Dale, founder and senior meteorologist at British Weather Services. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Sangeeta. Good afternoon to you.
What is the latest on this?
Okay, so at the moment we've seen...
There we go.
showers.
Yep, do overtake if you have the space to.
And they're breaking out across England and Wales for the most part. The test match edge has just been stopped for the same reason. Now, they're individual things. The big stuff is down south, that's towards Sussex, Hampshire, Kent area. Now, that's more like thundery rain. That's the stuff that's potentially bringing...
Whoa.
to the north of the coast this afternoon and this evening, in actual fact. So really, it's a south to north situation, and as you rightly point out, some of that will be heavy, some of it will be thundery.
They're trying to overtake me on the shoulder. Good luck.
But, just prepare for that, because many places are dropping in time. People are going out, doing their thing, Father's Day and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that's gonna end badly. There you go.
And it comes with the usual caveat of lightning strikes, gusty winds, the downpours that we talked about. And that's what basically we're going to see this afternoon and this evening.
I've got his. I've got his info as well. I mean, I'm gonna remember where and when this is.
Trying to break open a conversation that really needs to be had. What it is like to have a parent in prison. I've got this text, lots of your text coming in. Let me just read this. Hello, I'm a social worker here. What I find most difficult is the way the press don't consider the impact on children of what they report. The recent experience.
I've only hit highway speeds once, but yeah.
It's devastating having a parent in prison. Also, how difficult is it to arrange for children to visit their parents? It's really hard. Even as a professional, I can't imagine how hard it is for families, says Kathy in Bedfordshire. She says she's sorry she can't share her real details. Kathy, I understand exactly why. Patricia in Newport, I'm sorry we couldn't get to you. But it is because we are going to, again, completely change gear. Yesterday, we had a phone in, didn't we? To try and help those people who own their own homes and properties as mortgage rates go shooting up. This time, it is your turn if you are renting. So, if you are in private rented accommodation or you're in social housing paying rent and you are struggling, we have a legal expert, one of the best in the business, Russell Conway.
Yeah, he's gonna have a lot of fun.
If you have questions for our housing lawyer and you are in rented accommodation,
He's gonna have a lot of fun cutting in and out at this corridor of the Calais-Duisburg Road.
On Global Player and
Play LBC.
leading British
Conservative Party staff dancing and drinking at a party in December 2020. That's when London was in the middle of a COVID lockdown. One of the partygoers pictured in the video was given an OBE last week in Boris Johnson's resignation honours. Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove had this to say about the footage obtained by the Mirror.
I just want to apologise to everyone, really, who, looking at that image, will think, well, these are people who are flouting the rules that were put in place to protect us all.
John Stevens is political editor at the Daily Mirror, who broke the story and gave LBC more details of the event.
So we think there were about 24 people there. It was organised by the campaign of Sean Bailey, who was running to be London Mayor for the Tories at the time.
Whoa, easy, my guy.
Which is in the middle of Westminster. And a lot of people there we knew about.
There we go.
Because there was this still image that the Mirror published in 2021, which showed some of the people there.
Former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has said, "I've done nothing wrong," as she returned home for the first time following her arrest last Sunday. She was questioned by police investigating the SNP's finances and was released without charge pending further investigation. Ms Sturgeon says she will be back in the Scottish Parliament in the early part of the week. The former head of Tesco, John Allen, denies a series of allegations against him that were published in the Guardian newspaper last month. He denies 3 out of 4 accusations of inappropriate behaviour. He does admit once complimenting a colleague's appearance. Mr. Allen claims men are now worried about hiring women.
Quite a lot of men say to me they're getting increasingly nervous about working with women. But I can tell you that's what quite a few people are saying to me and saying to others that I know, that they're going to be very cautious in future about how they interact with women.
Stabbing in Bournemouth has left a 21-year-old in hospital with serious injuries. He was wounded in the stomach and head just before 3 this morning near bookmakers and takeaway restaurant. A 21-year-old woman was also stabbed. A 20-year-old local man has been arrested on suspicion of grievous bodily harm and affray. Police are now looking for a second suspect. LBC Weather expects showers to break out across England, Wales and Northern Ireland.
I'm getting his info as well.
24 degrees. For Global's newsroom, for LBC, I'm Tim Humphrey.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Sangeeta Maiska.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Sangeeta Maiska here on LBC Review. If you were listening yesterday, you'll know that there was a free advice clinic for those people who have mortgages and are worried.
There you go.
Mortgage rates are soaring, and that means repayments are soaring. Loads of your questions and calls came in then. Today we are flipping the
Oh,
script.
he's using keyboard.
Jeez. On the other
Jeez.
side of this picture, if you are a renter, if you are renting either privately or in social housing, please pick up the phone if you want free advice from one of the country's leading housing lawyers. His name is Russell Conway. He's a senior partner at Oliver Fisher Solicitors. He specialises in landlord and tenant matters. I'm going to ask him a few questions first, because whenever Russell comes on, I have
dear.
a million questions for you. Renters are back in the news for a number of reasons. Let's kick off first of all, though. I want to just touch on Grenfell. It's 6 years last week since the fire. The inquiry is still underway. You represent 6 Grenfell families. What are your reflections 6 years on?
It's been a long time since that fire. I remember it graphically, driving into work and seeing the flames and the smoke. I live very close by. And I wouldn't have thought it would have taken 6 years to have reached a conclusion. But it is a very complex matter. The inquiry has finished as such, and they're busy writing their final report, which may be with us sometime next year. I'm hoping that when that report is published, blame will be properly apportioned, because local people around Grenfell, people around London, want some degree of accountability, because 72 people died in that fire. It's a huge number. This was just a fire in a block of flats. It should never have happened that way. And the report from the inquiry will be stage 1, but stage 2 will be the police investigation. The police are delaying investigating until they've got the final report, and there is some sense in that, frankly, because because it's complex. But
Whoa.
there needs to be
I saw that
less
off in the distance.
and accountability in the
Closet.
town court, and
Then I
hopefully the
thought,
people who have done
meant to
things
say
wrong
closer.
will meet their degree of accountability, which I think is considerable. 72 lives, far too many.
And in terms of buildings and the quality of building, that continues to be an ongoing story. Thousands of people who either own their flats or are renting their flats in buildings that are still covered in cladding. The government did introduce some compulsion for freehold. Can you just run us through again where we are at with all of that?
The government has tried its best in some respects. It's brought in the Building Safety Act, which parts of it have come into law, other parts of it haven't. But a large part of that legislation relates to buildings over 11 metres high. And there are many blocks of flats, schools, hospitals and offices which are below 11 metres, and they've got appalling cladding on them. Some of them have got wood. Only last week there was an extremely dangerous fire caused by wooden balconies. And people will have barbecues on wooden balconies, and the results can be horrendous. The government is doing what it can, but, like the police, they're waiting for the final conclusions of the Grenfell inquiry. I believe that once those are published, there will be further legislation. I think the government will be forced to do more, because we can't have schools and offices and hospitals covered in flammable material. It's just not right, and there will be further tragedies.
One of the reasons I want to bring in for free advice for people who are renting, and I'm incredibly grateful that you're able to do that, Russell, is because what are called legal aid deserts have developed in this country. In other words, and this is not a conservative government thing. When Labour were in power, we were covering this story as a reporter, and on it's gone. Legal aid and the provision has been eroded over years, leaving entire areas of this country without legal aid solicitors. But there's been a disproportionate impact, hasn't there? When it comes to housing. What's happened?
Well, the problem with housing is it's really quite complicated. The law is very technical. There are hundreds of statutes, many cases. It's not an area of the law that most people want to go into. I decided to be a solicitor 45 years ago because I grew up on a housing estate. I was a council tenant's son, and I wanted to do something about the awful estates that I lived on. But a lot of people, if they wish to go into a career in the law, frankly want the big bucks. They want to have a job earning lots of money, and legal aid lawyers don't. I mean, legal aid lawyers have not had an increase in pay rates for, I think it's 18 years. We're not striking, we're not doing much about it. I suppose I'm a vocational lawyer. I do this because I want to do it. I'm never going to get rich being a legal aid lawyer, but I'm very pleased at what I achieve. If I'm acting for somebody in a mould-ridden, damn flat and I manage to get them moved to a nice new flat, or I manage to get their repairs done, I look at myself in the mirror at night and I feel pleased with myself.
Last time we spoke, we were talking about the Warwickshire.
Yeah, I'm trying to speed up here. Sorry, guys.
In his blood. Michael Gove said that was supposed to be a turning point for the rights of renters in social housing. Was his death a turning point?
Sadly not. I mean, I have 2 or 3 people a day ring up with mould, condensation, damp, rats, infestation, cockroaches, you name it. And I can only take so many of those cases on. The vast majority of them do not qualify for legal aid. These people can't afford to pay lawyers.
Bruh.
And so there's this desperate situation where large swathes of our accommodation is inadequate, hugely inadequate. I mean, I sometimes go and visit people because the best way to sort out a disrepair case is to go along and have a look and see what you think of it. And sometimes I'm going into property where I feel at risk, frankly, myself. I was in a property a little while ago where I could actually see the rats. And when you're in a house, when you're seeing a rat, not a mouse,
This isn't the tenant saying it's a rat. I saw the rat. And I'm thinking, why should people in this day and age have to live in a house with rats?
Tons of money, we have tons of integrity. So I'm so glad that you're here with me. If you're just tuning in, I'm Cindy Tomaska. This is LBC. We have Russell Conway, who
Here we go. Highway speeds.
landlord and tenant law, answering your questions for free. If you are a renter, pick up the phone. It is very hard to get through legal advice or even assistance with legal advice if you're a renter at the moment. So take advantage of this. 0345 606 0973 or text 84850. If you don't mind, can we get a question in from a listener before the break? Imran in Hackney, you are first up. You can put your question to Russell. Imran.
Hi there, good afternoon to you guys. Sorry, I'm a bit late, it's my first time. I've got a question for Russell. I'm in rented accommodation and my landlord is next door to me. We don't have the partition for the garden with him, so he uses our garden and he's got live animals on my side of the garden.
What the hell?
No privacy, he doesn't do no work. Every time I talk to him about to do some work like the kitchen,
Well then.
I've got like or mold in the top rooms, or sort of like the socket for hanging. Every time I talk to him, he always asks me, says, "Oh,
Well,
that's
that
okay, so
accelerates
just
my
leave and,
right.
Go." But I tell him that you can't just kick me out like this. He said, "No, just leave."
Is your landlord in the same property as you? Is he what we would call a resident landlord?
No, he's next door to me. He's in a separate property.
It's an entirely separate property, is it?
Entirely separate property.
So
yeah.
I'm guessing you've got an assured short-hold tenancy agreement.
I do, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's two things here. He shouldn't be invading your space with animals. I don't know what they are, but it doesn't matter if you don't like them. That shouldn't be happening. If there are repairs needed to your property, one of the first things you can do, at no cost to yourself, is go to the local environmental health officer. From what you're telling me, the problems in your kitchen represent a risk to you and your family. The environmental health officer has the power to serve an enforcement notice on your landlord, and if the landlord doesn't comply with that enforcement notice, the environmental officer can take him to the magistrate's court. You can do all of that for free. And if the landlord then tries to get rid of you...
Yeah, I'm tempted.
If an enforcement notice has been served, the landlord is not entitled to get rid of you until such time as the enforcement notice has been complied with.
Right. Okay. Because he's got chickens. He's got live birds. We can't even hang our clothes in the garden because we don't have no like the shed in the middle, like partition in the middle where you have.
Well, this is appalling. Sharing your garden with chickens.
Fencing, yeah.
This isn't right.
Yeah.
This isn't right.
Where on his side he doesn't. He's got a lovely garden, but he comes every morning. And sometimes once a week, twice a week, he uses my water on my side where he's got
Here we go.
a tap outside my house on my side of the kitchen. And
you're probably paying for that water.
I am indeed. And the other thing that he wants the money cash. And he doesn't give me his account details to
Whoa, who's...
to get the money out. They ask us questions like, why do you need this money and this and that. Yeah.
It is legal. If he wants the money in cash, he can ask for it in cash, but you can refuse to pay it in cash. The problem is that sooner or later, if he won't take the money into his account, as the vast majority of landlords do, you're going to incur some rent arrears, and he's going to try to take you to court. Now, I don't know how disappointed you're going to be if you lose this flat. It sounds absolutely appalling place to live in. And
I think the problem is he's in the accommodation with 4 children and a disabled brother.
Yeah.
So trying to find accommodation for that
going to be
kind of
very
family.
difficult. That's going to be very difficult. But I think the issue about cash is that he obviously has an uneasy relationship with the taxman, let me put it that way. And it could be that if you mention to him his uneasy relationship with the taxman could be something you could deal with. He may want you to pay the money by cheque or by direct payment into his bank account, which is what the vast majority of landlords do.
Imran and Hackney, I'm going to have to leave it there. I hope. Lots of brilliant advice there from Russell Conway. thank you. If you are listening to this broadcast, I'm Sangeeta Maiska, this is LBC. I have with me Russell Conway. He is one of the country's leading landlord and tenant solicitors. If you are renting social housing or private rented and need legal advice, we know it's incredibly
What the
hard
fuck?
to
Who's
get legal
doing
advice
this?
right now. An affordable rent. Please pick up the phone 0345 6060973.
Bro.
Or you can text 84850. You're listening to LBC. I'm Sangeeta Maiska.
LBC.
Challenge the expected and make life easier with AEG and Sanusi appliances from markselectrical.co.uk. Home of big-name kitchen appliances, Marks Electrical offer a wide range of premium
Yup, and I'm
AEG
gonna
and
report
Sanusi
him.
products. And this month, they come with a free taste card to save you money on dining out. Plus fast, free delivery too, though T's and C's apply. Shop for AEG and Sanusi appliances at markselectrical.co.uk. Why wouldn't you?
In a crisis, service matters. You need an energy supplier you can trust. Which surveyed more than 10,000 energy customers. They independently reviewed the performance of every major supplier. Their in-depth assessment covered customer service, support for those in need, and how well companies dealt with complaints. Only one measured up. Octopus Energy is the only Which recommended energy supplier. Octopus Energy, recommended by Which 6 years running.
If you've lost money to a scammer, the system has failed you. There are safeguards in place to detect and prevent fraud. So if you've been tricked into sending money to a scammer, then we can help you get it back, even if you've been told no. CEL Solicitors are specialists in fraud and scam recovery. Rated excellent on Trustpilot, we can help you recover your money from the system. Visit celsolicitors.co.uk.
This week at Morrison's, buy 6 or more bottles of wine and save 25%. That's more Merlot, Bordeaux, Pinot or Prosecco, or Riesling. Reasons to shop at Morrison's. Morrison's to shop at Morrison's. Majority of stores subject to availability. Selected bottles, exclusions apply. See online for details. Max cap applies. Ends 18th of June. Please drink responsibly.
Holly and Shanice are prepping for a big weekend away, and it needs to go exactly to plan. So they need to know exactly what they're getting, like the choice of over 800 hotels.
Yes! Right in the centre.
So they're only moments away from where they want to be, with a super comfy bed waiting for them at the end of the night. And with checkout by 12 p.m, they can even hit snooze. Enjoy the same feeling whatever the trip. Premier Inn. Rest easy. Only available to book at premierin.com.
Sangeeta Maiska on LBC.
With Enterprise. Whatever vehicle you need, whenever you need it.
Hello, I am Sangeeta Maiska here with you on LBC. I have the leading landlord and tenant lawyer Russell Conway with me. This is an hour where it is a free advice clinic if you are renting a property and you need advice. Naomi in Hackney, your question for Russell, please.
Hello, Sangeeta. Hello, Russell. Thanks for taking my call. I am a long-term tenant of a very big housing association in London. I've been a tenant for about 28 years, and I always thought that I had the right to acquire or the right to buy. I was never in a position before. I now am in a position to just even acquire 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever it is. I've been told by the housing association I don't have that right, and my flat is in a very up-and-coming area. It's a fantastic location. It's right next to a tube, right next to parks. I don't really want to give it up and move to an estate or anything like that, or one of the new builds or anything like that. Is there any legal avenue I can take because I'm such a long-standing tenant? And I know rules have changed over the past 3 decades relating to my rights. Is there any legal avenue I can take in order to get the housing association to give me the right to acquire or right to buy?
Sadly, housing association tenants do not share the benefits which local authority council tenants have. council tenants do have the right to buy. It was introduced by Margaret Thatcher, and many council tenants have enjoyed that right and done very well out of it, I might say so. But housing association tenants do not have that right. Now, look, the various governments have flirted with the idea of extending it to housing associations, but housing associations have very vigorously resisted the idea because it will cause them significant problems. And for the moment, I don't believe, sadly, that you're going to be able to buy your home. I'm very sorry about that. You obviously like where you live, and it sounds a nice place. But as the law stands, housing association tenants do not have the right to buy.
So there's nothing I can do legally?
Nothing.
No. Okay.
Sorry to disappoint you, Naomi from Hackney there. Actually, I've got an interesting question in on text. It's about Section 21 notices, which have been in the news quite a lot. So I'm going to read you the question and ask you to start off actually by explaining what a Section 21 notice is. This is from... someone's got John. Okay. Hello, my name is John, and from South London. I live with my disabled dad, and our landlord is selling. We have stayed past our Section 21 notice and cannot find a new property as I only earn £23,000 a year. I don't know what to do at all. I can barely save and I'm constantly going into my overdraft. I am considering taking out a loan. John.
Well, a Section 21 notice is normally a 2-month notice given by a landlord to terminate an assured short-hold tenancy. At the end of the Section 21 notice, you do not need to leave the property. A lot of people think that the date on that notice is the date they have to move out. You don't. At the end of the Section 21 notice, the landlord has
Good
the ability to go to the county court to obtain an order for possession. Now, that's a process that can take anywhere between 2 and 6 months, maybe longer in some cases. It could be that your landlord hasn't got his paperwork right. Many landlords don't get their paperwork right. For example, if he hasn't protected your deposit, given you prescribed information, given you yearly gas safety certificates, electrical safety certificates, EPC certificates, and the government's How to Rent guide, the Section 21 notice may be invalid.
Well,
in which
not a
case
few
you've got
key,
little
but I
to
mean
worry about at the
I'm missing a
moment.
DLC.
Do check your paperwork and and your father's paperwork and make absolutely sure that the landlord has given you all the appropriate documents. If he hasn't, the Section 21 notice is invalid. By the way, be careful about taking out loans to do something if you were to have to move. Some loans that are offered in these circumstances can be awfully penal, and you can end up jumping from the frying pan into a very nasty fire.
John, thank you very much indeed. John from South London. I hope that has helped you a bit at least. Let's go to Leanne in Romford.
Oh,
Your
it's going to
question
send
for
me.
Russell, Leanne.
You cannot convert.
Oh, we can't hear you. We're going to call you back. We're on a bit of a weak line there. That's Linda from Barnes. Linda.
Oh, hi. Thank you for taking my call. I've lived with my mum all my life, and we moved downsized from our flat in Chelsea to a smaller house, so they had a nice bigger home.
I forgot I have that license plate on the corner window.
In April, and I want to take over the tenancy. It has 2 beds, and they said everything was going to be fine, and I could take it over, send in all my information, and then they're coming back to me and say, no, because I've got 2 beds, I'll have to downsize. They sent a notice, I don't know if this is right, but they sent a notice to quit to formally end my mum's tenancy. That was on the 24th of April. And so she told me not to pay anything, and then sent me a letter last week saying they're giving me a use and occupation so that I have a number. Then I have to ring up the housing association and pay what would be the rent, although they class it as not rent. And until they get all the papers and make their decision, because I said my brother would be willing to come and live with me, and so I wouldn't be under occupying. I'm 72 years old. It's a really big thing for me. and not losing Mum, but now I'm really frightened that I'm going to lose my house. I just want to know how I stand.
How long have you lived with your mum?
That's
All
a
my
shame.
life, but we've been together in this house for 15 years.
Well, I mean, the idea of you having to move elsewhere when you've got all those memories which are in that property is appalling.
Yeah.
The answer to your question about what use and occupation monies are, it's just a technical legal term for rent. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
If they ask you for rent, pay it, because the last thing you want to do is to get into any rent arrears. You should carry on paying the rent.
Well, I did too, because I had an account where I pay online, and we've never, ever owed anything, and I've always paid the rent. And I was paying the rent, which was going into classed as Mum's account, although I was paying it. So they owe me about 3 or 4 weeks' rent until I got my use and occupation number. Then I paid my rent on Friday with that. So
Look, the main issue here is you staying in that flat, because you want to stay in this 2-bedroom house, and I fully understand why. Moving is stressful, it's unpleasant, and you don't want that to happen when you've had to put up with so much tragedy in your life very recently. If they serve you a notice to quit, you need to be saying to them, I'm not going, I want to stay. They have a discretion. The local authority have a complete discretion to allow you to stay in the property.
I haven't used this one in a hot minute.
You've lived there with your mum for many, many years. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't continue to live there. There's a world of difference between you living in, say, a 3 or a 4-bedroomed house where, yes, it would be unfair for you to carry on living there on your own. This is just a 2-bedroomed house. It's your home. It's what you're used to. And I think if you make a fight of it, I think it's a fight you could win. I've won similar cases where people have happy memories and are used to the area, and they have friends locally, they attend a local church.
I know family friends who are in this occupancy in the UK.
Ground. There's no reason why they should bully you into leaving into some horrible 1-bedroom flat that you won't like and you'll be sad in.
And it's all I've got left of Mum.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, you've got to make a fight of it. And look, by all means, give me a call, because I'd be happy to do your case. I've done these cases before. There is no reason why they should force you out of your home. I think it's a case well worth fighting.
Thank you for your help.
Oh, Linda, honestly, wishing you the very best, and I'm so sorry that you lost your mum. I lost my parents. I know how incredibly traumatic that is at any age. So take care, Linda. Lots of your calls coming in. Free legal advice if you are a landlord or tenant with Russell Conway. Russell, we've just got 30 seconds before the news. I want to get this very quick question in. This one from Bonnie. What can you do if you think your estate agent has not protected your deposit? We have no paperwork to that effect, and she won't answer the question. I've asked her 3 times, says Bonnie.
Well, you can ask them by letter. If they refuse to respond by letter, you can go straight to the landlord and say to the landlord, if you haven't protected my deposit, I'm entitled to sue you for 3 times the deposit plus the deposit, and which will make the landlord sit up and do something about it.
Should Bonnie go to a solicitor and get a formal letter, or should she just...
She can do it herself, or just write to the landlord and say, look, if you haven't protected my deposit, I'm entitled to 3 times the deposit plus the deposit. The deposit's 2,000 quid, you know, that's 8,000 quid.
Bonnie, the law is on your side. Good to hear. Loads of your calls coming in. We are holding a special clinic for renters. And actually, we've got a landlord calling in. Might just put that question to you as well. I have with me Russell Conway, senior partner at Oliver Fisher Solicitors.
Do I want this road, or do I want... I haven't used this route yet.
My name is Sangeeta Maiska. You're listening to LBC. It is coming to 3:30. Let's catch up now with the news headlines with Tim Humphrey.
Cabinet Minister Michael Gove has said sorry for a new video which appears to show government workers at a Christmas party during the 2020 lockdown. The footage shows people drinking and dancing and ignoring the social distancing rules in place at the time. The former head of Tesco insists he's completely innocent over allegations of misconduct. John Allen was forced to step down this week after running the UK's biggest retailer for 8 years. Schools in England are facing 2 fresh teaching strikes next month. The government says it's irresponsible for any new members to walk out on the 5th and 7th of July in their dispute over pay. LBC weather, heavy and thundery rain continues across northern areas tonight, but becoming drier elsewhere with clear spells.
Yep, so I'm
and
driving
cloud, a low of 10 degrees.
This is LBC.
Here we go.
Say thank you to Folding. It gave us the versatile, functional, almost comfortable futon, the dangerously delicious cheese toasty, and peak folding, turning cows into swans, of course. Then the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 came along, a phone that unfolds to stand upright so you can take hands-free selfies. No outstretched arms, no photos filled with face. Thank you, Folding.
Buy a Galaxy Z Flip 4 today and get £200 cash back. Purchase before the 4th of July from a participating retailer. Claim from Samsung within 30 days of purchase. T's and C's apply.
Does your broadband slither around your home? And in peak times, do things feel a little constricted? Well, not when you get full fiber broadband from EE. You get the peak time speeds you pay for. Count on EE, full fiber broadband, powered by BT.
I don't even need a head-up display here.
coverage. The London Bath Company presents your concierge managed bathroom installation service in just 3 statements.
No mess, no stress, no drama.
That's the way it should be. As for your luxury bathroom, it's
designed for free, uncompromised, incomparable.
the London Bath Company. Your new bathroom, designed and installed the way it should be.
Showrooms in Chiswick, St John's Wood, Blackheath, and at thelondonbath.co.uk.
I mean, there are cordials, and then there are cordials. Expertly crafted, no less, with hand-picked elderflowers, don't you know? And then handed to me, preferably...
My guy is driving this like a truck driver. Jeez.
I don't let the kids near it. It's just for me and the girls. And that bottle...
He's driving the car.
Did I tell you how much I love the
Like a truck driver, I can't get over it. Oh, he's forgotten. He's even forgotten to turn off his turning signal.
Add a dash of extraordinary.
At British Gas, we get on with the job at hand. With over 6,500 engineers nationwide fixing, servicing, installing, upgrading, we're rolling up our sleeves to keep over 10 million homes and businesses running efficiently. And we're not stopping there. We're hiring a new apprentice every single day until the end of the decade to power the skills of the future. That's enough talking. Let's get on with the doing. British Gas.
Sangeeta Maestra on LBC.
With Enterprise, you're in good hands with friendly customer service.
Hello, I am Sangeeta Maiska here on LBC. It is your chance to get free legal advice if you are a tenant. May well just pop in a question from a landlord if you don't mind. Russell, I can see one coming up. It's very hard now to get legal advice for housing issues because we know that there are legal aid deserts developing. So this is your opportunity. 0345 6060 Russell Conway is one of the country's leading lawyers when it comes to landlord and tenant matters. We've got Leanne back on a much better line. This is Leanne from Romford. Do you want to have another go at putting your question to Russell, Leanne?
I'm really sorry, Sangeeta. Hi, Russell.
Hi, Leanne.
I'm wondering, we were given an order of possession, so we was evicted from our property, me and my 6-year-old son, and we were priority need. We met the criteria. The local authority accepted that, but on the day of eviction, they said they couldn't source any. They had nowhere to put us. They couldn't source anything.
Here we go.
We were left with actually nowhere to go. So they accepted it. On the second night, they were trying to book us an emergency hotel, and their corporate credit card failed. They have accepted responsibility after several emails. I had to
That was my alarm clock. Don't mind it.
to get them to pay attention because they wasn't taking any notice.
Yup.
And at first
Yeah,
they
it was the
wouldn't even reimburse,
Beatles.
they still haven't
Here comes the
reimbursed me
sun.
for the hotels, to those. But have they broken the law if we've met all the legal requirements?
Well, it's simply appalling because clearly, as you have a child, you are in priority need.
Whoa! I didn't. He didn't see that.
A statutory right to house you. It would, in the first instance, probably be in a hotel or something like that. Why a local authority can't get you into a hotel beggars belief. And what they've done is not so much breaking the law, it's maladministration. And the way to deal with maladministration is to write a letter or an email to the housing ombudsman, who has the power to award compensation. There is no doubt that you're entitled to compensation. I don't know which local authority it is, it doesn't matter, but what they've done is quite appalling. Why should you and your child be left homeless for 7 nights and, having to find your own accommodation? It is quite dreadful. The housing ombudsman is there to tackle cases like yours. You only need to send a short email, tell him what's happened, he will make a full report, and he will almost certainly say there's been maladministration, because there has, and he will give you compensation. Frankly, that's the best you can do, and it will also help others, because he'll wrap the local authority over the knuckles, and people in the know of that local authority will try to improve their procedures.
Russell, you said write an email. There is an art to this. I noticed that you said the word keep it short. If you were going to advise Leanne about the 5 or 6 points to contain, what would they be?
First of all, you need to perhaps enclose a copy of the possession order, which led to you being evicted. You then have to explain the date when you registered as a homeless person. You might then ask the question, why were you not offered emergency accommodation? Give them details as to where you slept, whether you slept rough or with a friend or on somebody's couch, or whether you had to book your own hotel accommodation. If you did book hotel accommodation yourself, give copies of receipts and invoices.
Yeah, his beacons. He has so many beacons that it's running down my frames.
It doesn't need to be a long letter. Keep it to bullet points, things like that. But local authorities have a statutory duty enshrined in Acts of Parliament, which mean they have to house you. And as I say, that may be in a hotel, even a hostel. They can't just allow you to make your own arrangements. That's wrong.
Leanne and Romford. Right advice?
Russell, just quickly, if I'd done that and they said, yes, we made a mistake, can I still go to the ombudsman?
You'll overtake me. You'll overtake me on the uphills. It's fine.
You certainly spent some of your own money getting your accommodation. That's my guess. And it's good to go to the ombudsman, because he can make recommendations to the local authority.
I'll let you overtake here. No worries.
To act with a greater degree of responsibility.
Leanne, thank you for that question. I'd like to bring you a question that's on text, and I think it's really interesting because it's about those people who are earning minimum wage. And we know that in London rents are sky high. This is a question in from Ava in London. I'm in private accommodation, 2-bed flat, £1,200 a month. As a single parent with 2 young children working full-time on minimum wage, I'm not allowed to go on the housing waiting list despite this rent already being almost my entire income. The council told me since I'm in private housing, I'm not entitled to apply for social housing despite my circumstances. This keeps me in a benefit trap. I was also told that if I become homeless, I'd be offered housing, quote, most likely in a different city, which is scary. Russell, what can I do? Lots of people who are just on this cusp in this kind of trap.
If you're on the minimum wage, and I think you mentioned you had children.
Ooh, nice.
I really would investigate whether you're getting all the benefits that you're entitled to. Huge numbers of people do not get the full scale of benefits to which they're entitled to. And you can go to the Citizens Advice Bureau for free. They are so brilliant at working out what benefits you should be receiving. Sometimes there are benefits which you have no clue that you're entitled to receive, which you should be receiving, and that can add significantly to your income. Now, 1,200 a month for a 2-bedroom flat in London is sadly quite a low rent. In London, rents can be considerably higher, and a local authority don't have any right to house you unless you can prove that the rent is unaffordable. For instance, I had somebody come into the office last Friday where they were being asked for a rent, I think £3,600 a month, and it just didn't work for them. And I said, look, your rent is unaffordable, you can't carry on living there, the local authority must house you, and they will be housed by that local authority. But in your particular circumstances, I just question whether you're getting all the universal credit and other benefits that you might be entitled to, because minimum wage is very little, and I don't know what hours you're doing, but if you have a family to support, there must be a time when you're not working. check your benefits with the CAB. The Citizen Advice Bureau is so good at working out what you should be entitled to. It may be that you can boost your income a little bit. The final part of your question is the local authority do sometimes do the scare tactics of saying you'll be rehoused in Birmingham or Swindon or Bolton. It's very rare that happens. The courts don't like that. The courts have said for some time now that if somebody registers as homeless in the London Borough of Hammersmith, the London Borough of Hammersmith should be finding accommodation for people in that borough. The courts don't like people being whisked off to Swindon or Birmingham, but local authorities still use that as a little bit of a scare tactic, and you shouldn't necessarily be too worried by that.
Ava, I hope that's given you some solace at least. Try and figure out what the benefits are that you're entitled to and ensure you're getting them. But I can imagine raising 2 young kids on your own, working full-time on minimum wage is not easy over in London. Thank you for that question. Are you up for a question from the landlord?
Yeah, of course.
This from Nicola in Billericay. Your time to put your question to us.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call.
Hello, Nicola.
Hello, hi. What it is I have a property and the tenancy agreement was taken over a couple of months ago. Signed for by a woman and a single woman and a child. And since moving in, I know that there are other people living in that property also. And so it's not what I was expecting. And they're also, I think it must be, I'm not quite sure what they do for a living, the people living with her, but there's now a lot of builder vans that are parked on the drive, parked on surrounding areas, parked outside neighbouring properties. And I just wondered actually if my tenant had broken any laws by not declaring that there would be other people living with her at the property.
Well, almost certainly they have, because you will have given your tenant a housing tenancy agreement, and in that tenancy agreement there will be a clause, almost certainly, saying not to sublet the whole or part of the accommodation without first obtaining the permission of the landlord. And if somebody does sublet or allow other people to go into the property, that is a breach of the tenancy, and you can serve what is called a Section 8 notice, which is a 14-day notice.
Section 8
if they
notice.
Don't, remedy the situation, you can then take them to court. I mean, this is a very big problem in London, because a lot of people rent a 2-bedroom flat and they put one of the rooms out on Airbnb, and the Airbnb pays their rent. But the problem is there's a lot more wear and tear on the flat. Neighbours don't like it, and you're almost certainly in breach of your lease. But you will find that if you can prove that she is subletting, it sounds almost certain that she is, you can serve her a Section 8 notice and say that she is in breach, and then if she carries on in breach, you can take her to court for possession. So the law is 100% on your side.
What kind of proof would Nicola need? You said it could be straightforward, but what kind of proof would be required to prove?
Unless I have official business here, I have to turn back. Too bad.
Possibly instruct a private investigator quite cheaply to do a status report on who's living in the property. When people live in a property, they leave a trail behind. There's lots of things you can do. I mean, one thing is, as landlord, you can ask to inspect the property. Again, going back to your tenancy agreement, there will be a right for you on giving reasonable notice to inspect. And when you inspect the property, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. I mean, I was working for a landlord very recently where there were 4 bunk beds in the kitchen, would you believe?
Wow.
It's amazing what you see when you go into a property. Go along and inspect, see what's happening. You'll be able to find out a lot from that inspection.
What is Nicola's right as a landlord to gain access?
Well, under the tenancy agreement, there'll be a clause saying that she can have access whenever she wishes on reasonable notice.
Gotcha. Nicola, is that helpful to you?
That's extremely helpful. Thank you very much. That's given me hope. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Take care. That was Nicola in Billericay. Thank you for your question. Plenty more to come. I'm looking at a full board. I have with me a leading lawyer in this country, an expert in landlord and tenant.
Yep, I have a long way to go in this one.
Your questions on landlord.
See, I wish this stayed popular. I wished the Mountain Road stayed popular, but in the main server of Euro Truck Simulator 2 multiplayer, Calais and Duisburg are the main hotbeds, so Nothing lasts forever here. But a year ago, this mountain road was very famous.
This is a low-flying cricket ball warning.
Very popular.
England batting in the men's and women's Ashes series. For your own safety, stay indoors and watch every match of the Ashes live on Sky Sports Cricket. Upgrade today for only £15 extra a month. Cancel anytime. Australia, you have been warned. Offer ends 3rd of August. Sky Q required. Further terms apply.
I just saw the car, and it only took me 30 seconds to get a quote.
Yeah, this is gonna be a sharp curve.
We're getting a bigger car.
Just sold my car. So we buy it.
No, not this. Oh dear. This advert is so not it.
Admin fee may apply. For more information, visit webuyanycar.com/info.
Whatever the weather, enjoy summer with a little help from Robert Dias. Get ready to beat the heat with our great range of fans and coolers from only $14.99. Get one while you can. And whether you need shelter from the rain or shade from the sun, keep your plans and parties in place with our gazebos starting at just $39.99. For all your home and garden needs this summer, find us.
You know what? I'm gonna roll the windows down.
Growers Harvest porridge oats, price matched at only 84p for 1 kilogram of Tesco. Mixed with some tasty overnight oats, which make themselves overnight. Fancy that? That's true value. Tesco, every little helps. Serving suggestion by 1996. Allowed to visit GP check most weekly exclude progress selected stores exclude express in Northern Ireland details tesco.com/price match.
When Greg received his Amazon delivery, his world started spinning. Eco-wash and automatic load adjustment. This washing machine was pure quality for a price that didn't rinse his wallet. 5 stars from Greg. With star reviews from you and star prices from us, start your search on Amazon today. I mean, there are cordials, and then there are cordials. Expertly crafted, no less, with hand-picked flowers, don't you know? And then handed to me, preferably in a glass of this. Want to know a secret? I don't let the kids near it. It's just dance. And that bottle, it's a thing of beauty. Did it tell you much of the cordial? That's the pro on my Prosecco. Bottle green, add a dash of extraordinary.
Sangita Meister on LBC.
With Enterprise, seize one of their neighbourhood locations on near you. Hello, I'm Sangita Meister here on LBC. We are having a written warning phone you. It is a clinic, a legal clinic. If you're a landlord or tenant, remember we now have legal aid deserts in this country. This is free advice from one of the country's top lawyers, Russell Conway. And Nathan, your chance for your question to Russell.
Let's see, the temperature outside in game. It's a bit too cold for me to have both windows down at this point in the mountains. So I'm just pulling them back up. Because why not?
With 7 others. The owner of the establishment has been round recently and has claimed that he has served the agency with a order to vacate premises, a 2 months order to vacate the premises that he gave in April.
Uh-oh.
And last weekend, the owner and the agent arrived at
Hey,
the
there's
house
still some popularity about this mountain.
leaving 2 days' time. The
Not
agent
bad.
had not told any of us that this was going on, which is why there was such a commotion going on here. That has now been extended to the 19th of July. My question is...
Okay, here we go.
After the 19th of July, which is only 5 weeks away, and I appreciate that this probably isn't legal, and I'll listen to what you've said about Section 21, but my question is, after July the 19th, what happens? Can they come in this house and disconnect the communal internet? Can they come to the front door and change the locks? And who can we go and
No, they can't do this. They can't do this. Now, the first thing we've got to do is to establish whether
There
this
we
house of
go.
multiple occupation has got a license? Because most houses in multiple...
It has. It has. It got one recently.
When you say it got one recently, have you seen it or have you been told about it?
I saw that it's a public document that's
there
on
we
the
go.
internet, and I looked especially because I knew that this was an issue 12 months ago.
When you say it's only been obtained recently, how recently? Because if it was a house in multiple occupation and it's only been obtained recently, you'd be entitled to a rent repayment order for the time when it hadn't been obtained.
And what's a rent repayment order?
Well, any rent that you've paid during the time that there was no licence, you would have an opportunity to claim back. So if you paid 12,000 quid in the previous year, you'd have an opportunity to claim it back. And it's really easy to do it. It's a very
I don't need to
simple
press
online
the
form,
accelerator.
first-tier
It's
tribunal,
pretty smooth.
and you can claim the whole rent back, which is great. But the simple answer to your question is, can they just throw you out or cut the water off or cut the internet off? No, they can't. And you should also contact the Environmental Health Officer, who is the person in charge of regulating houses in multiple occupation. He will not be impressed by anyone seeking to evict somebody on 2 days or even 10 days notice. You've got every right as a residential occupier. You're a residential occupier. You've got every right to have a court order. And for them to get a court order is going to take months, not weeks or days. And what you say to your landlord is, I'm not going anywhere until you give me a court order. And I'm talking to the Environmental Health Officer about when you obtained your licence, and I'll be taking action to get my rent repaid during the period when you didn't have the licence.
That's a brilliant answer. Quick question. In regards to my rent is paid up until the last day of June at the moment. What do I do about paying rent?
Always pay your rent whilst you're living there. It's always a good plan to pay your rent when you're living somewhere. It gives you the high ground. Once you stop paying rent, it gives you the low ground. Whilst you're living there, pay your rent on time. The obligation on a tenant is to pay their rent, not for the landlord to demand it.
Keith and Leighton, thank you very much indeed for that question. Loads of your calls still to get through, but I want to ask you this one that's come in on text. The texter hasn't put their name on, so do pop your name on at the end if you're texting me on 84850. Me and my son, it reads, me and my 7-year-old son are disabled. We live in a 1-bedroom flat in social housing. I am in rent arrears. The local authority said we cannot be transferred to or bid for a 2-bedroom flat, even if medically needed. My son is autistic and needs his space because we are in rent arrears. Is that right?
Sadly, local authorities tend to put the brakes on any transfers or applications to move to bigger accommodation when you owe rent. However, I think you shouldn't just accept what they're saying. I think you should challenge what they're saying because clearly your circumstances are such that things are getting worse rather than better. As your child grows up, you will need more space rather than less. And they don't seem to be understanding the sort of Equalities Act issues which present here. I think you do need to get a little bit of legal advice, even if it's only from a Citizens Advice Bureau. You may be able to write a letter to the local authority on your behalf. They can do that for free. Lawyers might be able to help you because you're in a fairly desperate situation and you need help. I don't know how much your rent arrears are, and again, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure it's not necessarily your fault that you got into rent arrears. Rent arrears are often the result of desperation, and I fully understand why you're in that situation. But don't give up on this. You do need a 2-bedroom flat. And if you give up on it, you're not going to get anywhere. And your situation
What the hell was that?
Try in the first place to go to a system
What was that?
to help you write a letter to the local authority. Concentrate on the Equalities Act.
That was weird.
Helps you because you and your family are protected under that.
I probably didn't see something, to be fair.
Seem to be giving you the sympathy which you frankly deserve.
Thank you for that text, dear texter. Please remember to put your name on the end of your text. Sarah in Chelsea. Hello, do you want to put your question to us?
Yeah, so basically I've got an ongoing issue with my neighbours with harassment and intimidation. incident is false allegation to the landlord who's a social housing that I'm building a conservatory, and I wasn't. I was just repairing a veranda that I've had for the last 10 years. I obtained a verbal agreement that I can build it as long as it's wood and plastic and not bricks and mortar. And the local, the social housing didn't get back to me. Late September, they only sent me a letter last week saying I've got 28 days to take it down, even though I've got written confirmation from the local authority surveyor saying it's not a structure that would need any permission in the first place. So I'm disabled, so this is one of the issues that I'm being bullied and harassed and intimidated by my neighbours, other than being of ethnic minority. And the abuse has been ongoing for at least 6-7 years, and the issues of complaints that I've raised to the housing, they've not done anything, and now I'm being bullied and vindicted about just to remove something that I've made the house into a home.
Has the local authority said you've got to remove the structure?
No, they haven't. I've chased it up because I didn't get a reply or a report from them, and the guy replied back saying it's a structure that doesn't need permission.
Okay, I gotta see the mileage, 4.9 miles per gallon.
Neighbour disputes are something that I hear about every day. They can be very toxic, and they can be very wearing, and they can ruin your life. And it's very difficult to repair the relationship between two neighbours when they fall out. But just because they tell you to remove a structure, that doesn't mean you have to. And if the local authority are content with what you've described as some sort of veranda, it doesn't sound in any way something that should be removed, and is something that may help you, and perhaps your disability demands that you have such a structure. Perhaps you could get your local councillor on side. Local councillors can sometimes open doors which other people can't. You don't necessarily want to make a neighbour dispute too legal. You don't want to get too hostile, you don't want to get too antagonistic. If you could get a local councillor on side, he could talk to the local authority, perhaps try to mediate between you and your neighbour, somehow try to resolve things between you. I really hope that things improve for you.
Thank you very much indeed for that call, Sarah. We've only got about a few seconds left, but I'd like to squeeze this in really super fast. This is a text. Dear Sangeeta, my son and his girlfriend are joint tenants, but are struggling to afford the rent and bills. The letting agent did not do affordability checks and verify references. Can the lease be terminated early as a result of this?
No. Unfortunately, you're bound by the contract. Sorry.
Russell Conway, thank you so much for your time. Russell Conway, leading landlord and tenant and senior partner at Oliver Fisher Solicitors. A full board of calls. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of them. I'm going to be doing more of these plans as we roll through the summer. Russell, will you come back?
I'd be delighted to come back.
There you go. An assurance from you, we will have him back again. Thank you for all of your calls, texts and tweets today. If you missed any of today's show, you can listen back on Catch Up on Global Player, including Tobias Elbert changing his mind live on air, where you can also rewind live radio and find all of LBC's shows to catch up on, as well as the World's Best podcast. Rewind live radio on Global Player. Download for free from your app store or head to globalplayer.com. Coming up at 7, it is Rachel Johnson, but right now, here is Ben Kent.
Sangeeta, thank you very much indeed. Hello, good afternoon. At 4 o'clock, integrity, professionalism and accountability at every level. Downing Street insists Rishi Sunak is getting on with the job of cleaning up our politics after that promise made on the steps of Downing Street last year. But with the Sunday papers today once again full of stories about Tory sleaze, do you buy it? We've got a video about a lockdown party. We've got another Tory MP resigning in disgrace. Is this a sign
that's an exit.
Rishi Sunak has inherited? Is it a sign that he's doing his best to try to clear up?
Whoopsies.
When it comes to promising to restore integrity, accountability and transparency, has it been all talk and no action?
On your radio,
Whoops.
on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
Here we go, high speed. We're going ultra speed.
At 4 o'clock, Michael Gove said sorry for a new video showing government workers at a Christmas party during the 2020
5
lockdown.
miles per gallon.
Drinking and dancing.
Well, we're gonna see how the mileage fluctuates when we are at 68 miles per hour.
Tomorrow, a debate vote is due into the report of the committee investigation into Boris Johnson's conduct. Tobias Elwood is a Conservative MP for Bournemouth East. He said he was too busy with defence issues to vote. But after listening to LBC listeners, he had this to say.
I'm moved by what I hear. I will now change my plans for tomorrow. As I say, my job is I really worry about our defence posture. I really worry about what's coming up the hill. But I will now change my plans for tomorrow. I will come back early and I will vote to support the Privileges Committee.
Former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon says she intends to be back in the Scottish Parliament in the early part of the week. She briefly spoke to reporters after returning home for the first time since being arrested as part of the investigation into SNP finances last weekend. She again said she'd done nothing wrong.
Yep, so this is a long stretch.
Global summit this week to call on investors and businesses to match Ukraine's bravery on the battlefield.
Yeah, so basically, as I was saying, this is the freeway stretch towards Duisburg. So it's just nothing but, it's nothing but freeways until we enter the area, and then we'll be hitting the Calais-Duisburg road.
The name would suggest Vodanchik is a Polish name. The father appears worked as a builder, and Mrs. Vodanchik was clearly working at a hotel at Heathrow. He killed Myers and went to a local primary school. It's a terrible tragedy, but it's in the hands of homicide detectives, but they're not looking for anyone else.
British tennis number 1 Katie Boulter has beaten Jodie Burridge in straight sets to win the Nottingham Open Tennis. It was the first all-British WTA final since 1977. Andy Murray won the men's final to win his 7th successive trophy, having taken victory in Surbiton last weekend. LBC weather, heavy and thundery rain continues across northern areas tonight, becoming drier elsewhere. Clear spells and patchy low cloud.
Munich.
10 degrees.
Okay.
Heavy rain in Scotland, clear tomorrow to leave another dry day with sunshine and showers across the UK. High of 24 degrees. On Global Newsroom, LBC, I'm Tim Humphrey.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Ben Kentish.
Just gone for hello, good afternoon, Ben Kentish here with you until 7 o'clock tonight. I hope you're well this Sunday afternoon. Lots I want to get your thoughts on throughout the course of the show this afternoon. At 5, we're going to be talking about the fresh warnings about rising mortgage rates and rising rent. I want to hear about your situation, how much worry this is causing you, and what, if anything, would help. At 6, record levels of children skipping school, we learned this week. What is going on? Why does our younger generation seem to be so sad, so anxious? Why are they spending less and less time in
the Alliance Arena. Nice.
But the time is 4 o'clock. Remember this. This government will have integrity, professionalism, and accountability at every level. Trust is earned, and I will earn yours. Rishi Sunak speaking on the steps of Downing Street just over 6 months ago. Well, you wouldn't see much sign of that accountability, integrity and transparency in today's Sunday newspapers, because today another Tory MP has resigned in disgrace. David Warburton, accused of sexual misconduct, denied, and suspended by the Tories last year, says he was set up, but nonetheless he's quitting, triggering yet another by-election. Elsewhere, senior cabinet minister Michael Gove forced to apologise on behalf of the Conservative Party after a video emerged of staff at that party's headquarters seeming to hold a lockdown party. At least 2 of those people present at that party.
Hopefully this works.
By Boris Johnson in his resignation. And tomorrow, of course, on that topic, MPs will vote on whether to uphold the privileges.
Yeah, you know what?
Into Partygate.
I'm gonna be safe here.
Lied about. Now, it seems to me that whatever he does, Rishi Sunak cannot seem to stop his party being engulfed by more sleaze allegations. He promised to clean up politics, and it hasn't really happened. Is that his fault? Do you blame Rishi Sunak for promising one thing and not delivering it? Because the message that Downing Street are putting out is that this is the mess that he inherited. This is the mess that the Prime Minister is trying his utmost to clear up. That he can't be held responsible for events like the ones I just mentioned that all took place before he became Prime Minister. That since taking office in November, he has done everything he possibly can to restore standards, to restore integrity, to restore respect for the rules. And that on Monday, even this week, he tried to demonstrate exactly that. He tried to demonstrate a clear difference with his predecessors. When he was asked about Boris Johnson's honest list, he said, Boris Johnson asked me to do something I didn't want to do, and I wasn't willing to do it. Number 10 say, that is exactly what he promised to do. That is the Prime Minister standing up for decency, standing up for integrity and accountability at every level, as he put it. And do you know what? I think there's something in that. There have been times when Rishi Sunak has taken a stand. He sacked Nadhim Zahawi. He refused to stand by Dominic Raab when he was found to have bullied civil servants. He didn't agree to Boris Johnson's demands, reportedly, about peerages. So I think it's fair to say that there has been some progress here. That Rishi Sunak has taken positions, that Rishi Sunak has defended certain standards and conventions and norms that perhaps wasn't happening before he took office.
Instead of making breakfast this morning, it is going to be an Uber Eats type of morning. It's okay, I could do this 3 days a week. I allow myself only 3 days a week to do this. I'm trying not to get too distracted while driving this.
He still waved through Boris Johnson's controversial honours list, and tomorrow, rather than ordering his MPs to stand by the Privileges Committee and stand up for their findings, he's instead telling Tory MPs they don't even need to bother turning up to vote, and then it's up to them, if they do turn up, how they want to vote. So I wonder what you would make of Rishi Sunak's handling of all these issues. Is he responsible for the new era of integrity number 10 like us debated? Has he restored some semblance of standards to the heart of government?
And that's why you do not text and drive.
I do think there's been more focus on rules and process than there was before he took office. But as I said,
I just gotta
the bar was very low.
adjust the directions.
And I don't think Rishi Sunak can claim to have restored integrity, transparency and accountability at every level. Now, I appreciate he's trying to keep his warring party together, but that was the promise that was made to the British public, and I'm fascinated to hear whether you think that promise has been delivered, whether that pledge to bring back trust to politics that you just heard has been fulfilled. 0345
we could do that.
60973. Text me on 84850. Tweet at LBC.
Okay, so options are not good, so actually
has restored integrity and trust.
I am gonna have to end the stream early. We'll just finish the second half of this delivery. It's more of a drive because I'm not actually doing a job. But
to be joined to kick off our conversation on this by Bob Seeley, the Conservative MP for the Isle of.
But to end this, at this point, I think we've made some good progress. I mean, we're nearly halfway there, and to be fair, it's a pretty easy drive the rest of the way. Might be on later today. If not, I'll be on tomorrow. Okay. Have a good day, everyone. Enjoy this lovely Father's Day. And for those who do not, have a father actively in their life, I wish you all the very best. Have a wonderful Sunday.